Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the Genesis shop and how to buy out the majority of items. Unfortunately, you cannot buy out all the items every single week simply because there aren't enough ways to earn enough Genesis points to buy everything. But nevertheless, in today's video, we're going over all of the different ways where you can earn Genesis points. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily. So if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to go over is what exactly is in the Genesis shop. So as we can see here, all of the items from Icicle Cube all the way down to Grand Dread Keeper LC are items that reset every single week. As you can see here, 6 days remaining. All of these items say 6 days remaining. However, if you scroll further down past the Grand Dread Keeper LC, all of these items reset monthly. So the Monotite over here, all the way down here, including all of these capsules as well, including the Aegis Integra as well as the Ajax armors, these reset monthly. So if I were to highlight all of the items that we can purchase weekly, and you can see that it's going to cost us a total of 89,150 Genesis points. Well, unfortunately, there is no way to earn this many Genesis points per week, so it is not sustainable to purchase everything from the shop, because there is a daily and a weekly cap of the amount of Genesis points that you can earn. I don't really know why Sega did this. You know, they added all these items in the shop and they're like, yeah, you can buy all of these, and then they cap you so that you can't actually buy all the items. I really think Sega needs to look into this and remove the cap or change it so that at least we can buy out all of the items that actually do reset every single week. But then again, there are some items over here that you don't really need to buy. The first thing would be the Mastery LC. We do not need Mastery LCs anymore simply because they're not exactly the best augment anyway. The next thing I would take away would be either High Ale Domina LC or High Ret Domina LC, because you can only apply one of these onto your armors or your weapons anyway. It's just best to just stick with one, unless you are using Fixa Abandak, because Fixa Abandak does give you more potency based on the different augments that you use. So only if you are using a Abandak, then you can pick up both. But then again, you know, you need to get the Genesis points. But for the majority of players, I would recommend sticking with either High Ret Domina or High Ale Domina. The difference between the two is High Ale Domina gives you extra photon power. It gives you 4 extra photon power. The potency is exactly the same. However, it gives you 20 less HP and it gives you less potency floor increase at 2%, versus at High Ret Domina, it gives you 2.25% and 30 HP. So you're gaining 20 HP and you're getting 0.25% extra potency floor, but you are losing that 4 PP. So it's really up to you. You know, the potency is exactly the same at 2.75%. So whatever suits your personal playstyle, just pick one. So for the sake of today's video, we're just going to stick with High Ret Domina instead of High Ale Domina. So that's going to save us a little bit of Genesis points. Then we're going to scroll up and we're going to find the more expensive stuff. So Master Fragments, we should always be buying this. This is our #1 priority, because remember, after you get 10 of these Master Fragments, you can exchange it for an End Master Cube, and that is actually saving you 5 million Meseta, because that's how much it costs in the treasure shop. So this is the free way to do it. You want to buy this every single week. This is your #1 priority. Now the TA Customization Disc X, this is optional. Personally, I wouldn't buy this because I would be using my Dread Scales and exchanging for the Disc X every single week. And as long as you've been doing that beforehand, you know, I've been doing this for like 20 weeks already. So I have a metric butt ton of these Customization Disc X, because remember, you need one of these in order to reach level 10 on any of your different photon arts as well as techniques if you are customizing them. So it's 1 per technique or 1 per photon art. So just keep that in mind. Now, other than the Disc X, another thing that I would also remove would be all of the customization Disc A's, simply because you can use Growthman to get the Disc A's and you can get a bunch of these. So I would simply remove all of the Disc A's over here, and voila, we have lowered our needed points per week to 67,150 Genesis points, which is sustainable. We can actually earn this many Genesis points every single week relatively easily. Alright, so the very first method I want to go over is going to other players' creative spaces in order to get Genesis points. Now, the majority of players are just going to go to the featured list and just visit every single one and pick up Genesis points. However, there is a much more efficient and a much faster way to max out your daily cap of 1,250 Genesis points. And the method revolves around finding gold and rainbow Genesis points trees. A lot of people think that the rainbow and gold Genesis point trees are absolutely random. However, it is not random. It is based off your player ID. So as we can see here, Neko's player ID ends with a number 1, which means that we have to wait all the way until April 13th, 2024 before they get a rainbow tree. However, you can see that in today's rotation at the time of this recording, it's currently March 19, which means all accounts that end with the number 2 have a rainbow tree. Now, in order to see your player ID, you have to go to personal, character information, stat information, and right here, player ID. You can see that my player ID ends with the number 4. And since my player ID ends with the number 4, that means that I have to wait until March 25 of 2024 before I get a rainbow tree. Now, with this newfound knowledge, how are we going to actually take advantage of this? Well, actually, we are going to go over here. We're going to go to creative spaces, and we're actually going to go search space / alliance space search. And right under tag, we're going to do GPID2. And then we're going to click search, and you can see all of these different creative spaces all have the tag GPID2. The reason for this is because their player ID ends with the number 2, which means all of these are going to have rainbow trees. So we're going to go to this one. I'm just going to show you that it is a rainbow tree. So you can see that we teleported right here, and boom, look at this. It's a rainbow tree. We're going to take it, and voila, you can see we earned 625 Genesis points out of our daily cap of 1,250. So now we're going to head over here. We're going to go to another creative space. Let's search again, GPID2, because remember, today number 2 all has rainbow trees. We're going to click search. We were on this one. We're going to move on to the next one, and this one is also going to have a rainbow tree. So we're here again, and look, it's another rainbow tree. I'm going to hide my webcam. I'm going to interact with it, and bam, you can see we got another 625 Genesis points, and we already hit the daily limit of 1,250. That was super simple. We simply just went to 2 different creative spaces, and boom, we hit the daily limit, and we're good to go. Now, do keep in mind, there are going to be days where there are no rainbow trees. So for example, March 20th, 2024, as you can see, there are no rainbow trees. There are only gold trees. So if you're looking for all of the gold trees tomorrow, you would simply go over here to the tag, type GPID7, and then search, and all of these houses over here, or all of these creative spaces, all have player IDs that end with the number 7, and they will all have gold trees tomorrow. Now, they won't have gold trees today though. Like, I'm just gonna visit this one over here, and you're gonna see that it's just a normal tree. So as you can see over here, it is just a normal blue tree. I try to interact with it, but I've already hit my daily cap of 1,250 points, so I can't pick up any more. Sega should really remove this and allow us to just pick up as many as we want, or like 5,000 or 10,000 or something, so that we can actually buy out everything from the shop. But nevertheless, this is just an oversight, I think, from Sega, and we just can't buy those. But that is the first way to get Genesis points, because you can pick up 1,250 Genesis points every single day, which means if you do this every single day, you earn a total of 8,750 Genesis points per week. Now, on top of all those Genesis points that you could earn from other people's creative spaces, don't forget to actually visit yours occasionally, because there is a weekly over here, acquired Genesis points, which gives you a total of 2,500 extra Genesis points as long as you collect points from your own tree. So let's say that there were rainbow trees. What you would do is you collect your own tree first, so that you get credit for your weekly, and then you go collect the other 2 rainbow trees. Even though the second rainbow tree would technically overcap you, you're still able to pick up the Genesis points, and it will just cap out at 1,250, okay? The second way to earn more Genesis points is through the exchange from Alliance Badge Shop over here. So right here, you can earn a total of 7,000 Genesis points every single week. As you can see over here, 500 points, you can buy the 6 times, so that's 3,000. Then right here, you can buy another 2,000, that's 5,000. And then right here, you buy another 2,000, so that's a total of 7,000 Genesis points. And last but not least is your quest earnings weekly of Genesis points, where you can earn a total of 50,000 Genesis points. In order to earn these Genesis points, it's super easy. You can simply run the Seal Exploration, or you can do the Time Extension quest. Personally, I think the Time Extension quest is the fastest way to earn a bunch of points. You can simply run the Extermination or the Patrol mission. So let's say that Extermination is a little bit too difficult, or you don't have a party, you don't have friends online, so forth and so on. You can just spam the Patrol mission, and you'll still be able to get a bunch of Genesis points. So when we add up the total amount of Genesis points that you can earn every single week, which is sustainable, you end up with 68,250 Genesis points that you can earn every single week. And it just so happens if you were to buy every single item except for the Mastery LC, as well as the TA Customization Discs A's and the TA Customization Disc X, you have to spend a total of 68,150 Genesis points, so you will be able to afford all of the items that I currently have highlighted. So that's pretty much all of the important items, as well as a bunch of extra items. Technically, there are some items that you might not need. For example, if you don't need arms refiners, you can delete the 40 arms refiners as well as the 20 arms refiners too. The photon chunks, if you don't need these, you can also remove. And there's just a whole bunch of items over here that you can remove if you want in order to save a little bit more Genesis points. Now, I know some people are going to be saying, Caro, if you spend all of your Genesis points in this shop, how are you going to pick up your Alliance buffs? Because remember, in order to get your Alliance mag boost, so that's the 10% HP, 10 photon power, 5% extra potency, the extra EXP, as well as the rare drop rate boost, all of this also costs Genesis points every single day. So how are you going to actually afford all of these if you're spending all of your Genesis points in the Genesis point shop? Well, it just so happens that there are a bunch of limited time tasks that you get every single month, which encourage you to actually go to the creative space and do some stuff. There's actually a total of 10 of these quests every single month, and they all reward you with 1,500 Genesis points. So you get a total of 15,000 Genesis points by completing all of these limited time tasks over here. And you're actually going to complete some of these by just collecting a bunch of points. So that is really, really nice. And you're going to use these 15,000 Genesis points to make sure that you can actually pick up all 5 of these buffs every single day. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.